fellow patriots, welcome to Hope for Survival. Happy March 3rd, 2024. Hope you're blessed and your March is starting off in a positive way for you. In this edition, I wanted to do a news break number 2 before I head back out on the road again tomorrow for the week, through Thursday, and then I'll return home. And I wanted to hit on a few news items that I picked out over the past week, or past 4 days actually, to share with you that I believe has some importance. I'm sure you have your own news items that you follow as well. So let's get started. The Texas fires. You may have come across some news clips talking about how the Texas fires could increase the cost of beef by as much as 30%, 30 to 40% in some areas. It's not just the loss of cattle, but it's also the inability to feed existing cattle in the northern Texas region where the fires are burning. Not to mention the fires were burning around a critical munitions plant. And there's reports the fires are spreading up into Oklahoma. The key point in this topic is you have a choice. You can continue paying the high cost and rising cost for beef in your local grocery, or you can go straight to the farms, buy it, can it, freeze it, dehydrate it, ever how you want to do it. But if you don't plan now, it puts the problem at your table in the coming days and coming weeks and long term. I was in a local grocer, a chain grocer nationally, and I was just spot checking some prices, and this was about 2 weeks ago, and I was blown away by the high cost, and it was ranging $7 to $8 a pound. Some was $9 a pound for the particular beef. So you may want to track down, if you haven't already, you may want to track down a local farmer who raises beef and sells it, and get on their list to purchase same once processed and butchered. It's not just a great convenience, but it's also a kind of a safety measure, in that when you have your freezer with beef, you don't have to deal with these exorbitant prices. And you're also, if you buy from a local farmer, you're supporting a local business. Next, I'm seeing more and more reports of American families that are going belly up, and they're losing everything. Some have and have not lost jobs, but the rising cost of rent, mortgage payments, high interest rates, job losses, and the works is bankrupting them. While our government continues to fund forever wars, funding non-citizens and bringing more in. This is a travesty. Why are you expected to pay taxes and account for your money while the Pentagon can't account for billions and hundreds of billions of dollars per year? That's your money. When we do our threat matrices monthly, which I've covered numerous times, that you should be doing at least monthly, and if not monthly and weekly. Patera over at Appalachia Homestead recently talked about how global events affects you at the local level. I was happy to hear her keying in on this point. But it just goes to show again that both global and national events can affect you at the local level. And you need to be doing your part in identifying and tracking these events. Interesting topic is on the national push for electric vehicles, and more and more as life goes on, everything we're being sold falls into the smart category. Okay, something you need to realize is that all these items have what's called kill switches. Okay, and with the ability to hit a kill switch, this gives the authorities the ability to impact transportation, banking, medical, supply chain, fuel, travel, entertainment. All needs and pleasures that we depend on, yet they all have kill switches to control us when we don't obey. Mitch McConnell stepping down in November. I guess I asked the question, if he's stepping down in November, why wait till November if he wants what's best for the GOP? I think the answer in that was when Uncle Joe commented upon the announcement that he would miss McConnell. I think that tells us everything. Sometimes it feels like the sky's falling, the sky's falling, the sky's falling. But I think if you step back, you'll realize actually it's not falling. That everything you see is planned and was planned and being planned to transform America. You may remember that quote spoken from our leader prior to Orange Man. These things are being planned out. We're basically feeling crunched on many different levels, and many of these levels are in the digital world. Okay, crime in America is interesting. We know that crime in America is rising. Some will argue that it's not, that it's even or less. Well, the reports on crime is showing an increase. However, it is very easy at the high levels from agencies and government tracking crime. It's very easy to adjust these numbers in how crimes are reported. But I found it interesting that Venezuela recently reported crime is at a 20-year low. With everything they have going on, they're on the brink of war with Guyana, and with the turmoil that has gone on, basically being a bankrupt nation, even with all the oil they have, and the political disruption they've had, that it's at a 20-year low. Well, part of why this is happening, and part of why our crime is increasing, is that countries, many of the countries who are pushing migrants towards our border into our country, is that these countries are releasing violent prisoners out of their prisons and basically dumping them into America. New York governor states she doesn't want to highlight crimes by illegals because it tarnishes their image and it isn't fair. That's about as dumb as the comment last week from the authority that said the easiest way to decrease the crime numbers is to redefine the definition of crime. I would encourage you to keep your eye and ears open to the name Karg, Kharg, Karg Island, and it's off the coast of Iran. And Iran is currently heavily involved in much of what's going on in the Middle East. And there's some questions as to why Iran may not be targeted heavily and to possibly take out their oil production. Well, Karg Island off the coast of Iran, this is where the Iranian oil above ground and below ground cylinders are at, and they move it to the mainland of Iran under the water. I've read some stories and heard researched it a bit, and targeting Karg, which is 16 miles off the coast of Iran and is 300 miles from the Strait of Hormuz. One quote that I heard was targeting and taking out the oil production on Karg Island would basically be a global admittance that we no longer plan to use petroleum globally, setting us back many years. Hospital staffing is bad and getting worse because the COVID funding has been cut off in most cases. The travel nursing programs has basically stopped from its pace of supplying traveling nurses during COVID. I know a lot of professional nurses who left the regular job and went to the travel nursing program to make more money. Those contracts are not being refunded because now that hospitals would have to fund them directly out of the hospital budget. I say this because we can expect longer hours to be seen in the emergency room and months for first appointments to specialists. We're hearing more and more reports of individuals who are waiting 4 to 6 months just for a first appointment to then be referred to another specialist and have to wait 4 months. So this is another key area that nationally it's a problem that will impact us on the local level. Medical preparedness. Hope for Survival has been talking about pre-planning, holistic care, essential oils, and herbal care for a few years. And the reports on prolonged put-offs, canceled insurance, and extreme increases in cost, pills not available, just keeps growing. Individuals that need key medication are not able to get these medicines, or an insurance company takes you off of a medicine and puts you on a generic form and then tells you that the generic form is not covered in the calendar year. This problem is building and it's getting worse. So you need to look at different courses of care, or else become one of many with no filled prescriptions. You do have options, but you must take the steps to fix your problem. We have provided sources in the past where you can go and buy with prescriptions. You can buy prescription care direct from other locations. Numerous individuals have used same both nationally and internationally to purchase needed medicines. It works, and in many cases the costs are far under what you're paying through your insurance provider. Um, but depending on what kind of care you need from prescriptions, you seriously need to look into holistic care of some form to see if it can help you get off of prescriptions and use either essential oils or herbal remedies to help out your problem. There's numerous cases of this being the case. Actually, some licensed pharmacists who have left the pharmaceutical field and are now offering guidance in these areas. Make sure I word this right. There was an appeal filed that the Supreme Court has agreed to hear, and I believe the review date is right before they go on recess at the end of April. And it's on the topic of, does a president have complete immunity during their tenure in office? Many believe that this was a victory for Orange Man. But when you read the docket filed, it was actually filed by Jack Smith, the investigator, prosecutor, whatever you want to call him, in the Washington, D.C. region, which is not favorable. Okay, and many look at this. Many look at this as the possibility, depending how the court rules, that if ruled yes, the president does have immunity, this could have long-lasting impacts to our nation, not just this singular case. Okay, let's just suppose only. What if the current person in office was found guilty of handing over the keys to our nation while in office and giving over our sovereignty as a nation? Yes, that sounds treasonous. But if the court rules that a president is immune from prosecution for all acts while in office, this would apply in the same case. Okay, any act of a president. Okay, and we also have to remember years back when President Clinton was tried. Remember, after he left office, he had to give up his law license for the remainder of his life. And this was because of actions while he was in the White House. So, the consequences to our nation, especially considering how divided political parties are today, the ruling on this case could have long-lasting impacts that would impact all of us. Okay, so those are my news clips that I wanted to share with you. I wanted to give a shout out to some of our Hope for Survival preparedness families and groups across the southern states. There's groups and there's people out there doing awesome work to better prepare their families and their communities in many different preparedness areas. They're building that self-reliant insurance policy to be self-sustainable, from central North Carolina to western North Carolina to Georgia, several areas in northern Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, and across South Carolina, and so forth. There's many areas, and there's many people who continue to learn new skills and advance their crafts, and to be better self-sustainable, but while also helping others. We have a lot of new people who are getting into preparedness, and everyone's making an effort to the best they can to help these folks along. So kudos to all of you. And lastly, Hope for Survival does an annual donation drive, and this raises funds through donations for operational cost only. This pays for hardware, software, licensing, editing, software programs, and so forth. And this keeps us running through 2024. So if you have any desire to support us, you can go to our website, which I'll put in the program description box, and a link where you can go for more information to donate. Your consideration would be greatly appreciated. So to all of you out there, keep on keeping on. The noose is getting tighter, if you will, and from wars to non-ending wars and rumors of wars, to crime, to unemployment, to the cost to live and survive, to just absolute division amongst ideologies and groups in our country, philosophies on how to fix problems. And the best thing I can offer you is to keep preparing, stay involved, but keep preparing your family and your local communities, because that's where you're going to be impacted at the greatest level as things continue to slide south. So keep that in mind. So if you like this video, please hit like. If you have any comments, please leave them below. And if you have any good information you would like to share, please do so, and I'll check into it. And share with others, help us grow. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe, and encourage others to subscribe to help us. And as you go forth into this week, remember to be blessed, and most of all, give thanks, even through all the negatives. Look around you. If you woke up this morning, as do I, give thanks for the fact that you awoke and you have air to breathe, and that your body can move and function through this day and into this next week. So thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next Hope for Survival YouTube.